Wow. Man, listen. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the platform. Please remember to like and share the video coming through the door. This is video number 3 at 3:30 a.m. in the morning, 2nd of July, 2025. I am kind of at a loss for words. Panel removed the FID job required after conversations. No documentation exists. Man, you can't make
Something
this
not
up,
right, my wisdom warriors. Something is not right.
bro.
Tell about them.
All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way.
See, these people keep digging a hole for themselves bigger and bigger and bigger. And, I just want to remind you guys of the prophecy of Pastor Peter Chambers. The more they try to cover up the dirt, is the more they are exposing themselves. Ladies and gentlemen, this is alarming, And I want to give Andre Stevens a lot of credit. Because I didn't really get to look at this article. And I heard him say it was just a conversation. I said, what? I said, let me go and look at this article. And look at it. And I'm going to go to the part exactly where she's quoted saying it. So what I have said today is conversations that would have taken place as a part of the interview process. That's not a document, so that cannot be provided under the API. So this is my theory, ladies and gentlemen. To avoid showing us the original documents and to be transparent, and I want you guys to follow me. This is my opinion. I might be wrong. But I believe that these people are so diabolical that they have concocted this argument, right? And sent out Dora the Explorer. Isn't she the Minister of Education? Why is she the person talking about this? She's not the Minister of Information or whatever that she was before. But anyway, they sent out Dora the Explorer. And you're telling me that a mere conversation was had and on such an important, and they want to play down the importance of the 12-year experience plus 5 year in senior level, 12-year experience in law enforcement, 5 year, at least 5 year in the senior level was a requirement. And you want us to believe that, it was never there before, so it really wasn't that important in a position where investigation of crimes like money laundering, nepotism, cronyism, skullduggery, thieving, theft, fraud on the highest level when you're dealing with politicians. You are telling me that a 12-year experience, we're going to scoff at it. It wasn't really that important. So we just had a discussion, we just had a discussion, and oops, there was no more requirement for 12 years experience in law enforcement, and 5 years out of that 12 should be at the senior level. That was just insignificant all of a sudden. That's what they want us to believe. See that, people? See that? Look pretty good. So, to avoid, in my opinion, to avoid being accountable and transparent, this is the move. This is the chess move, And then Fitz Bailey says that he pondered over his selection before writing a letter to the Office of Services Commission informing them he was respectfully declining the chance to serve the FID. Now, if we are to move from Fitzbailey, they want us to believe that a process of hiring was done after this man decided that he doesn't want to be a part of the situation, and Dennis Chung was the most suitable candidate. I wonder who they interviewed. Well, let's listen to this.
There is nothing to hide in relation to that selection process. There was a process that was engaged with and a candidate was selected. There were 2 rounds that were done. In the first round, a candidate was selected, but that candidate opted not to accept the position. The panel that had been doing the interviews, the panel decided that they had to go back out in order to get a new candidate because the candidate from the original round did not accept the offer.
The minister was providing an update about the selection process consequent upon the access to information request from the media. It's understood that the former Deputy Commissioner of Police in charge of crime, Fitzbailey, was the original candidate selected to lead the FID.
You know, it sounds good, you know, but why are you guys blocking the information? There's still no transparency. What the other part of the process? Why is it being blocked? Who was these other people? You don't want to tell us because we're gonna look up their information and their qualification and find out that Dennis Chung was not more qualified than them. Ladies and gentlemen, this to me is a whole sham. And you know, I'm just up to my neck with these people, and I don't have time to waste. I'm not mixing my words. This is an entire sham. An entire sham.
Bailey, who's now the police commissioner in the Turks and Caicos Islands, would have brought 40 years of law enforcement experience to the role at the FID. He confirmed to our news center on Tuesday morning that he was indeed selected to lead the FID, coming out of a grueling selection process that included a virtual interview in front of a panel of 6.
So you went from 40 years of experience in law enforcement to 0.
Fitzbailey says he pondered over his selection before writing a letter to the Office of the Services Commission, informing them that he was respectfully declining the chance to serve the FID. And according to Minister Maurice Dixon, that's when the Services Commission invited new applicants and opened up the field to persons who did not possess experience working in the law enforcement field. At the end of that second round of selection, Dennis Chung emerged as the strongest candidate.
Yo, you guys believe that? Dennis Chung emerged. Notice the choice of words? Boy, these people know how to write a script, boy.
They wanted to also broaden the pool of individuals that could be selected. And as you know, when you do this, and this is done across Jamaica, you always, you want to get the best person you can. And you put out an ad and you do your interviews and you select someone. And then that person says, no, I don't think I'm going to take up this opportunity. Many entities go and do another round. And sometimes they may change the ad, trying to get a broader pool of persons to be interested. And that is actually what happened there. And so the ad was changed to get more people. Now that didn't seem controversial to the team because the criteria in relation to law enforcement experience was not one that was there from the very beginning.
George.
So their argument is that because the law enforcement part wasn't there from the beginning, it means that it's not an important requirement. So they just threw it away. If it wasn't important, why did they add it? Could it be that they realized the importance of it and that's why it was added?
The position. The panel that had been doing the interviews is nothing to hide in relation to that selection process. There was a process that was engaged with and a candidate was selected. There were 2.
Nothing to hide? Why is it that we're just hearing about this? How long has Dennis Chung been the FID president or whatever? Got the FID position? How long has we have protests? And now this is the story that you guys come with. What, a month after?
2 rounds
Oh
that were
my
done.
God.
In the first round, a candidate was selected, but that candidate opted not to accept the position. The panel that had been doing the interviews, the panel decided that they had to go back out in order to get a new candidate because the candidate from the original round did not accept the offer.
So the people took it upon themselves, ladies and gentlemen, and had a mere discussion. They had a mere discussion and said, you know what? There's nobody else out there with law enforcement experience. We just don't have a lot of those in Jamaica. So let us widen the scope and listen. Well, let us widen the scope by removing that. And you're telling me in all of Jamaica, Dennis Chung reached the top 10 and emerged number 1 out of it? What are the freaking odds of that? Dennis Chung, Andrew Owner's associate and friend. Dennis Chung, the one person that said he doesn't see anything wrong with having this and this and that. The real issue is this and this and that. Dennis Chung that doesn't see the Prime Minister doing anything wrong after a detailed Integrity Commission report. You see, this is the same thing Mr. Christie warned us about, in this article, Yes, man. He warned us about it. Mr. Christie warned us about it. Weakening the Integrity Commission. Yes. He warned us about it. Right? In this article. Executive Director has argued Jamaica cannot effectively fight the ever-increasing sophistication of 21st century corruption and bribery with weakening anti-corruption laws and deliberate blunted tools. You hear that? You hear that? I did a whole video about this already, so I'm not going to go through everything. Alright? The man say it requires urgent, sober, and impartial and decisive address. This is more so since indications are that the country is currently moving in the direction of weakening the Integrity Commission Act. People, there is a systematic approach to destabilize key institutions in Jamaica, especially the ones that is responsible for locking up politicians that are involved in fraud, money laundering, illicit enrichment, all types of financial crimes. That, in my opinion, is treason to the office in which they represent, and treason directly to the people of Jamaica. And I don't know what the penalty of treason is in Jamaica, but if it's a light penalty, they need to stack it up heavily, and that's the only way that corruption will end in Jamaica, when people start to get those harsh punishments, assets removed, never to return. All their family assets then get taken away. You understand? So them can't use them girlfriend, everybody, nobody not safe. Their baby mother. As long as them can prove an involvement of large sums of money and all of these things. The investigators know what to do. I'm just saying, I'm echoing the call. Alright? So we rubbish those arguments from More speaks. You guys let me know what you think in the comment section. Alright, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram. And Andre said bless up the super chat. Bless up the cash app and the PayPal, man. Alright. And the Zelly.